Manglik, Manglik, Manglik. Aren't you tired of somebody calling you that just by reading your birth chart and telling you that you have some extraordinary, so much infamous yogas and combinations in your birth chart that after marrying you, your spouse will die? It's more like a curse that you are carrying and you feel like you are the cursed one in this world. And they have to find some special person with special combinations in the chart to match your chart and marry you. Well, if you are tired and actually looking for an actual explanation of where this comes from, does this theory actually holds up? Is there anything at all called Manglik Dosh or being Manglik from the actual texts? And you think that these things do even work still? Or people just made that up to to give you a reason not to marry you? Well, let's deep dive into that, and we will be discussing with actual references and an actual history or the origin point of where this kind of combinations and explanations come from. And does this really hold up? Do you still need to be afraid of it or not? Well, let's get into it. But first of all, Namaste, Jai Shri Ram and Jai Bhavani. And I bow down to the land of Australia and the true natives of this country and civilization who are the true custodians of this land. Welcome to Sanatan Vaani, and as always, if you like this kind of content where you are being a part of a discussion where a proper reference of actual stuff is given and a discussion is upheld with proof and a more positive outlook towards Jyotish, Sanatan history, and true outlook is being set, that many times falsehood and the false stories travel around, then please do like, share and subscribe. Same topic are always uploaded with different languages, which is Hindi and Gujarati as well, so you can forward this video to whosoever you feel like they will get it will be useful for them. Thank you very much for joining. Well, so where does this Mangal Dosha or Manglik, being Manglik, comes from? To your utter surprise, the Rishi Munis, I will tell you one thing, the Rishi Munis who wrote the classical texts have never ever used a word which is called dosha. Dosha means impurity, imperfection. How can the creation of God be imperfect, impure? This is merely a construct of a very, very, very conservative thought process kind of timeline in our medieval history, when people were surrounded by so many bad things happening, invasions and famine and drought and those kind of things, and where language or the communication and any such kind of analytical part of your daily life found very, very negative way of coming out. So our Rishi Munis never define any word as or any yoga as dosh. They define that every person has a part, an ansh of Ishvara, of Brahman, of God himself or herself, whichever form of God or goddess you believe in. So how can there be a dosha? So when somebody says you have this dosha, that dosha, first of all, don't believe that person. There is, and quote them. Show them my video with proof that, see, this guy has given the reference and there is no word of dosha in the entire any Rishis written text on Jyotish. Not even a single. Not in a single instance of the word dosha. Now coming to the point, Manglik or Mangal. The dosha wasn't there, so Mangal dosha obviously not going to be there. Mangal is also called Kuja. Many places it is called Kuja dosha in Bharatvarsha. But as dosha word wasn't there, so Kuja dosha or Mangal dosha was never to be found in any of the classical texts, which are the actual authority. So on top of that, Manglik, that word is a made up word. Actually, that is a made up word. Being in Jyotish for more than 8 years now and researching into it, analyzing countless people's chart, I'm telling you, there is not even a single word called Manglik. This is a made up word. And people there are so many verses in so many Rishis texts which actually refer to a death of spouse, death of a relative, death of the person themselves whose chart is being referred to. And not just that, various other bad stuff is pointed out, signaled for various other combinations. But that does not mean that Mars was singled out. Mars was actually singled out in this. Mars has no fault in entire discussion of being Manglik, Dosh, etc. Because Mars, I'll tell you one thing. People are more afraid of Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, some big words of big terrible things happening in your life, right? People are always benevolent or happy or lovefully or with, so much lovingly they refer to Guru, Dev Guru, Brihaspati, and Shukracharya. Shukra. Everybody wants luxury, wealth, and stuff and point out towards Shukra, and everybody wants happiness and luxury and good luck, and they will point out at Brihaspati, at Guru. Well, I'll tell you something. Guru being Uche in various combinations can give you fatty liver, can give you obesity, can give you certain kinds of body parts cancer as well. So the highest point of Guru can also do that. Then Venus being Ucha, Venus on its highest point can also give you addictions, can also give you a drive of driving away, leaving, absconding. Is that a good thing? And then Mars get blamed due to, in my research, I could only find one explicit reference in Brihat Parashar Hor Shastra, which is the BPHS, the very first and the biggest text in the entire series of text by the classical works of Rishis, that is Brihat Jatak, Brihat Prigu Samhita, Brihat Samhita, then Saravali, Jatak Parijatak, and all the other researchers and mathematicians who have put in their works since the Rishis. There is only one reference that I could find in BPHS, written by Parashar Rishi himself, the originator of this field of science as a complete academia, when he gave his first Samhita for it. And that is in the 18th chapter for Stri Jatak Faladhyay. In that, there is a yog mentioned. A lot of yogs are mentioned in there. And there is a yog mentioned which is called Pati Ghatak Yog. Shlok number 48 and 49. In that, there is a particular reference of Mars. Otherwise, in all the books, including BPHS, there are more than 20 and 40 kind of references for death of spouse, death of some relative, death of the person itself, as I said. But nobody is so much worried about that, but somebody caught onto this idea of creating a fear psychosis into the society, which we as Sanatanis need to get hold of now. We are we are the illuminators of knowledge into this world. How come our society ever had such kind of elements who could create a fear out of something and for our society? Well, now people like me, there are plenty of people like me who are illuminating this knowledge once again in actual and true and logical form, and not a fear psychosis created around religion. So this is blamed onto Mars, and I will not quote the combinations and the conditions which are mentioned in that verse, because I do not want people to get afraid of their own chart. I will not disclose those things. You can go and read by yourself, no worries with that. But I will tell you a few things about these verses that you will get to know that you have nothing to fear about, Mangal, Mars in general as well. So this way, blaming on Mars has become something like there are more people killed of diabetes every year, and in Bharatvarsha, in Bharat, actually, that number is increasing day by day. Proportion is increasing day by day. Death after or because of diabetes, than any other pandemic. But people are going to blame something which was outshone, which was like an outlier, and a given, like, which has a catch or a sound or a rhythm to it, which can create a frenzy behind it, right? So this happened with Mars. Well, I tell you something. Not all yogas fulfill themselves, even if the promise is there. who knows your dasha of the house of the seventh house ruler, or like particularly because we are talking about this for the death of spouse, that fear came into that, don't marry this person otherwise you will die, because there are combinations of death in that person's chart for a spouse. And I'm like, okay, first of all, how Jyotish works. If you have viewed my first video before this that I made about whether the name of a child should be given according to a particular combination, looking at moons, nakshatra, or pada, or rashi, or that kind of a letter. Well, I also explained in that video, and even in this video, I will repeat this for that sake, that combinations do not work this way. The way people think is just because something is there, it will fulfill. First of all, the promise of that combination has to be checked in multiple layers as well, not just in birth chart. There is Navamsha, there is, yes, for new people joining into Vedic Jyotish kind of little detailed discussions, here you go. There is not just one chart. There is Navamsha, there is Drishkan, there is D3, D9. You have to verify multiple charts to see whether the yoga upholds. And then you can say that this yoga will fulfill. Then you see at the dashas as well. Who knows that you might have passed your dasha even before you are 14 or 15 years old? Will your spouse die then after marriage? That dasha has already gone. Mahadasha of 7th house ruler, Mahadasha of Mars, Mahadasha of 8th house and or the 7th house or anything like that has already passed, or is coming after 100 years or after when you are 80. There is no use of that yoga anymore. There is no reference. Just as good yogas, that if you have a Raj Yoga but your dasha does not support it in time, you are 2 years old. You are 2 years old when the Raj Yoga fulfills, and yes, wealth might come, comfort might come, which is maybe to your parents. But you will not be able to satisfy yourself with that I have a Raj Yoga, right? Yeah, fulfilling has been done to you through your yoga to your parents, and it comes down to you, obviously. But the yoga which will fulfill when you are 24 and you actually becoming a millionaire and supporting your family and your kids, that yoga comes when you are 2. Your father may get some money, new job, promotion. So such way, this kind of yogas also dasha passed very early or is coming far away. How can you just say somebody by picking the chart that your yoga without verifying actually? Because I know many times when you send for your matchmaking charts, they are just looking at the first thing and that points, the gunanks and all. That system is an old system. That system does not uphold anything in the modern or actual relative context. That gunas, and we will make a detailed video on matchmaking systems and all, but what you need to see in matchmaking is, oh well, leave it. We will do that in a separate video for that. So Mars may, or the 7th lord or whatever is connected to the death of the spouse, may not be, even if the yoga is there, may not be fulfilling, and 90% of the time that is the case. Death, because of more than Mars, there are all other types of yogas which suggest death, not just of spouse and many other kind of relatives or some other people as well. And one yogas give you multiple kind of events, such as a very bad event is a different thing. I'll tell you something like this, which I already said in the previous videos, that I can give you an example. And recently our team in India was going through an analysis, like a career analysis for someone, and they saw the combinations, and pretty much as soon as I saw the combination 11th lord in 4th house with the 10th lord, as soon as that I saw the combination, my team and I all went is, when the young elder sibling will buy a property or a vehicle, then, or a house, then this person will get job, will get promotion or change of job. And that's exactly how the event has occurred in that person's life, in that younger sibling's life. So this way, so 2 things can happen and you can see different relations in your own chart. You do not need to see that person's particular chart to see the event. But, even in that particular elder sibling's chart, it will be seen that when that younger sibling gets a job, you will be taking a property or buying a property. That same yoga will be there, and you can verify that. So such way, between spouse, This kind of checking must be done. That your yoga upholds you first. When people are blaming people and branding them like Mangliks and all, because of you somebody died, which is totally wrong of that time's astrologer or whosoever is doing anymore. Your death, that spouse's death, first of all, death will be seen in that spouse's chart. Yes, that the death of that person will be seen in that spouse's chart first, and from that that particular event will be tracked in the person as well. I can tell you one thing: when you can put together like so much force to not let two people marry, no matter what astrologer, no matter what relatives, no matter what parent, I dare you, definitely, if like the marriage is definite, that marriage happens between two people, before or after applying this all kind of brute force of matchmaking or not, those people whose chart actually show the same things, such as whenever you marry, however you marry, not just about that, for good things as well, both chart will give the same result, same kind of events. If somebody is actually knowledgeable to read them, both husband and wife will be showing exact same period, kind of same period to have a baby in their life. What combinations of health related things are there for their spouse and for themselves in each other's chart, that can verify as well. What kind of relatives like brothers, sisters, siblings, uncle, aunts, mother, father in each other's life can be seen from each other's charts itself, that can be verified. So that way, your alone chart cannot show just that the other person's death will happen. First of all, that event will be seen in that person himself or herself as like, that's the first point. So that way, when people are just caring this way for these things, it's not true. It's not correct. And whenever people are also looking into this kind of people being manglik and like branding, as I told you, people can have fatty liver and obesity kind of disease and they die because some yogas are there in Jupiter. And Jupiter's Mahadasha comes and they die. Why didn't this Jyotish back in the time brand like a Guru Aik? You are a Guru Aik. You have a Guru Aik dosh. Huh? Why didn't they? Why? You die of addiction. Shukra being Uch. Best position of Venus. Somebody who does not know, who knows shallow astrology, they'll be like, Ucha Shukra. Yeah. Venus of Ucha. You have this, da. You may develop addiction of drugs and die of that. Then didn't they brand somebody, you are Shukraik, right? You have Shukraik dosh, Chandraik dosh, you are a Chandraik, Suryaik, Rahuaik. No, this Manglik dosh, no, this is for people who actually don't know or don't read astrology. There are definitely, as I quoted, genuine quotations by Rishis that in certain so and so situations happen. But that is like a special occasion of that kind of yogas are triggered by dasha, gochar, yoga's fulfillment is promised, and then that thing happens. Nobody's life is permanent. And people thinking spouse is dead something because of somebody else, then how long are you going to live with each other? Eventually one or the other or both are going to die with each other, right? If the dasha triggers very late, you will have a fulfilling life even if you have that yogas. You will have a 30-year, 35-year, 40, 45 years of married life. Maybe you might die in your old age, both around your 90, 95 age. You might have and for special cases, I would say, is it bad to have a Manglik Dosh, so-called Manglik Dosh? What does that mean, I'll tell you what actual practical astrology happens behind if this kind of yogas are there. Have you heard of Abhimanyu? Actually, Mahabharat's the greatest and the fiercest and the bravest warrior was Abhimanyu. Think about that story after thinking about accusations of being Manglik or Mangal Dosh. Shri Krishna was his mama, his mother's brother. He was there. And he married Uttara, daughter of King Virat. Abhimanyu was the son. Abhimanyu, he was there, and along with Sri Krishna, did nobody know how to stop a Mangal dosha? Because that's the exact same story that worked out, right? After the marriage, within 6 to 7 months, in the battlefield, he dies. His son, Parikshit, is born after his death. But that guy fought like something. Now think about the same story and the yoga story. Uttara might be having a Manglik Dosh, what these people are trying to say, or Pati Ghatak Yoga, which Rishis actually refer to. What kind of husband did that wife hold, being that kind of yoga in her chart? World's bravest, world's youngest, and world's best warrior. That's what the husband that her Manglik Yoga made. Rishis are giving the shlokas in so many complicated sequences that you have to decode. When shlokas are given 42, 40, 41, 42, 43, coming down to 48 and 49, you never know which shlokas conditions are connected with other two shlokas condition, because they speak it that way. Only the person sitting in front of them while listening was the best person to know the context of how that Rishi was trying to explain each condition. Who knows, that is the permutation of combination, not just written there, but also a condition to some other yoga that you need to check whether it gets cancelled or not. And this kind of death yogas are not that easy to fulfill, because there are plenty of layers of cancellations to be looked at. Plenty. And as I said, multiple layers of charts as well. So when you think that this is straightforward, just one position of Mars and you are a Manglik or Mangal Dosh and the death of the spouse, that doesn't work out this way. It just doesn't work out this way. So think about that, Abhimanyu, that even if we think about this kind of stories of Pati Ghatak Yoga, and Uttara would be so lucky. Just like Uttara, there are plenty of lucky women in India who might be having this kind of yogas in their chart, and one of them could be a story of what we all know from the Sher Shah, Ye Dil Mange More, the Paramveer Chakra, Captain Vikram Batra and his team. Captain Vikram Batra, only 2 years into his service, I think likely at the age of 24, gave himself into the Kargil war, and I think on 17th July 1999 was the victory day for him and for Bharatvarsh. That young man, along with his teammates, secured the objectives of the points, and along with them so many others. That guy, we all know that famous movie, Sher Shah, Lion King, that Braveheart. Think about that girl who was supposed to marry him, his fiancée. How lucky that girl would be that she had that kind of similar, maybe this kind of yogas. After dating for a few years, they just decided to marry after he comes back from war. Most probably that's what the story is, that's as far as I know. And that guy just goes in, gives his blood, gives himself into the lap of Mother India. Think about how blessed that lady is. Think about how blessed all of us are actually that somebody had that in their chart. Let's just say, for example, right? So if you are a Manglik, or you have that Manglik dosha kind of made up thing into your chart from Mangal, you can see that your husband or your wife going to be extraordinary. Many times that's, as I said, it's not going to fulfill because it's poles apart in dasha, in timeline. But why fear? Marry this kind of people. If you are a weak person, not able to decide anything in your life, marry a girl or a guy which has this kind of Manglik dosha things in their chart. You will get more, your timeline of would have been coming, of becoming better, becoming more decisive, becoming more powerful, more aggressive, more firm in your life. If you are non-decisive, if you are a little low in your energy, can't find your physical prowess, and like, you cannot even gather your strength to have discipline and all. That's actually what it can do for you. What's said by Tulsidas ji in Hanuman Chalisa, Rama kaj karibeko atur. You will become that person who is ready to go and achieve, no matter what. If you are not marrying this kind of person with this kind of combinations, you will become. Otherwise, if you just marry this kind of person, you already are that person who are the go achiever, who are the go getter, who can say that no worries, we'll achieve it, no worries, possible or impossible task, we will get into it. We can take hit, but we will hit back. We will get to the task no matter what kind of cost. We will figure out a way to do it sooner or later. This is the kind of person you would be or you will become. So when people brand people being Manglik or not and create a frenzy around it and like a phobia around it, just show them this video. Tell them the quotes that I did of the actual reasons of the verses. Apart from that, there is nothing else for Mars. And that way, if somebody is saying by like, no, I'm confident that this yoga is there in you and you have to do so and so rituals and all, ask that person, can you verify this yoga in different D3 chart, D9 chart? Can you verify this yoga with dashas? You having this kind of Mars in 6, 8, 7, 4 or whatever, 1, 2, 3, 12, 11. I'm saying all the houses because I don't want to create fear in anyone. Wherever Mars is, you become fearless or you become strong in that. So, and also if that yoga contains Mars, this kind of, like whenever this kind of situations were happening, it was back then when that was actually certain. Even today, this yoga's work, that happens. But that is, as I told you, it's a very, very tedious task of calculating that yoga to see whether it's getting cancelled or not, that timeline is missed or not, or something like that. So in this video, that is what you are, like I'm trying to debunk that there is nothing called dosha. First of all, so any other dosha people are talking about, forget about it. There is no doshas, never. Being Manglik, it's not defined. There is nothing like that being Manglik, and also that we are debunking as well. And what to do in that for the remedial situation, if somebody is even recommending, as I said, ask that person, can you prove me, not just in Lagna chart, can you prove me in other detailed charts as well, which are the detailed versions of your Lagna chart of different aspects of your life, that can you prove that the same yoga is upholding? Because if you go deeper into deeper detailed charts, same yogas will be there if that event is to be happen. And if at all this kind of things are to be looked at or not looked at, I would say whenever something comes under being Manglik or Mangal Dosha, don't pay attention to it. I would say just see the person. Ask the astrologer what kind of person that person is, or what kind of qualities you uphold that could bring challenges into your own relationship going ahead in a marriage. Don't fall for this kind of traps. So in this video, I conclude that there is nothing like dosha. Forget about Manglik dosha, Mangal dosha, Kuja dosha. There is nothing like being Manglik, and you do not need to fear it. Don't worry, I am answering you with actual Jyotish reference after doing this much research in Jyotish after 8-10 years. Yes, there are yogas of death of various relatives. There are written, not just spouse. But why people are so much afraid and creating fear out of Mars for this thing, which is totally wrong, because that yoga can be made by any of the malefic planets, any of the Krur grahas, Ketu, Rahu, Shani, Mangal as well. In many cases, as I told you, stronger versions of or debilitated, whatever dignity kind of, even good planets can create this kind of yogas of death. So be aware, be away from these things, and yeah, join our Sanatan Vaani channel. Please subscribe so that we can bring more and more research topics this way with references, with proof and debunk myths, and also celebrate Celebrate what actually is there, and also to know, so that we know the actual story and the origin behind something in Sanatan and Vedic Jyotish, or with our rituals or history or anything, rather than just knowing and believing some kind of made up story around these things. You have been amazing to me, and I would again ask, please subscribe, because you subscribing helps us understand better which kind of topics we can make videos about. Please like, share and comment what next topics you want, and if there is any question or any point in your mind that you think that I missed in this analysis and reference, please add that to the comment section. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next video. Namaste. Jai Shri Ram. Jai Bhavani.